Hello. That all looks like it's working, I think. Everybody maybe can confirm that it's going live in the group. It seems to be. Yeah, I think we're all good. Hello. Oh, do you know, I'm such a schoolboy. I never mute the places where I've got it going live. It's currently playing really loudly in my ears. But where? Sorry, guys. I'm just going to have to spend a moment just closing off all the things. Got it. I found it. There you go. Great. Sorry about that. That was a complete fiasco. If you've never done a live stream, what you tend to do is you start the live stream and then you go around all the places that you want it to be working and you go and look to see if it's working. And then the consequence of that is that you get in your ear all the noise from yourself speaking. So anyway, I do apologize for completely mucking up the first minute or so. Hello, WP Builds, live news once more. This time, we've not got 4 of us, we've got 3 of us, but we have. Yeah, I'm getting such a pro at this now. I feel like I want to just push through that little blue bit and just get into. Would that be so weird if my hand appeared in the other side of the planet? How you doing, Shane? You all right?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Do you want to tell us who you are, where you're from?
Yes, Shane Rielly. I'm co-owner of Lonely Viking, an agency based in South Africa. That's it from me.
Okay, thank you very much. And down there, I'm going to tickle his cap. He's wearing the Matt Medeiros Mr. Robot hat. We don't know which one it is. Matt Report, Mr. Robot. It could be either. How you doing, Paul? Tell us about you.
Doing good, thank you. Hello. So Paul Lacey here. I'm a global junior coordinator at a fast food chain, and I'm currently working towards my 2nd star.
You're hoping to get onto the register soon, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, you'll be able to actually deal with
Looking
the money.
Looking forward to a great future. To be honest, sometimes I wish I was working at a global fast food chain, working towards my 2nd star, because it'd probably be less stressful, and I might even get paid more. I don't know.
Well, you've got a big fan here, Shane. Look, there's Matt Davis saying Shane.
Yeah,
really big letters. But then, you know, not to be outdone, Paul has such clean-looking skin.
Really?
I'll bet he polishes it.
Is that what Matt's saying? Okay.
Yeah, Matt Davis. That's a nice thing. Nobody ever writes things to me like that. I just think I was saying to Shane earlier, I think I'm looking more like a sheep as the days go on. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to share my screen quickly. I've got a few things that I want to say. We're going to be talking about this page a little bit later, but Black Friday, man alive, it's all started. I've got my Black Friday page up and running. It's over at wpbuilds.com/black. Oh, by the way, if you do want to make some comments, please don't go to wpbuilds.com/live or wpbuilds.com/Facebook, and you'll see it in the Facebook group. But if you want to make comments, chuck them in there and I'll be able to put them on the screen, which would be quite nice. But yeah, just to quickly say, wpbuilds.com/black. We've got this Black Friday page. I would like to make a personal announcement that we've got 3 sponsors this year. I'm very pleased. I know each and every one of them, and I'm delighted that they've come on board. We've got Andre from Project Huddle, who sponsored this page. We've also got Arindo from WP Ultimo, again, sponsored the page. Thanks, guys. And we've got Seb from Microthema, who's sponsored this page. So could I ask you to go and check out their stuff? Their sponsorship really helps keep the podcast open. But if you scroll down and you click on this little yellow button here, you're actually able to filter for things like, oh, I don't know, let's do WP Ultimo or something like that, and you can kind of filter for the deals. Or you could say, I don't know, I only want to see ones that are on lifetime deals that are 40 to 50% off and that kind of thing. You get the idea. It's searchable, filterable. So that's wpbuilds.com/black. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the WordPress news. Got the archive here. And we're going to be talking about this one, which is episode number 90 that I released early this morning. Don't know if you two have had a chance to peruse it, but we'll put the articles on the page and we'll go through them sort of one at a time. We'll miss a bunch out this week because I actually want to get on to talking about just Black Friday in general, not my page in particular. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
All right. So I guess the first thing that we've introduced is quite cool, actually. I like this. It's the first one. It's about Gutenberg 6.9, introducing image titles, block patterns, and new theme features. It's not tremendously exciting, but WP Tavern talk about the fact that we've got 6.9 version of Gutenberg. The image alt attribute field, well, that's not that exciting, I don't think, in particular. But I think down here, this is quite cool. Don't know if either of you two managed to see this. So this is the initial block patterns API, pithily titled. But essentially, if you've got like a complicated block that you've created, let's say, for example, I don't know, a company like Toolset or ACF, for example, and they've got something that's really complicated, well, you can hook into this API and make kind of like a wizard so that when you start using that block for the first time, you can demonstrate, okay, here's what this block can do. It can do 2 columns, left sidebar. You know, for this, it could be anything. But that's quite a neat addition, and hopefully that will improve over time. Block gradients, and the rest you can find out about yourselves. Do you want to chip in there, Shane? Did you have a chance to see that?
Yeah, I did look at that one. I think what was quite cool was the block templates, while the being able to use it within the templates feature. So I think that's one step closer to Gutenberg becoming a sort of like a page builder that can edit all parts of the site. But I see it's still got a way to go. But I think it's just a step in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're on that road. We'll come to that later. We've got quite a lot of, we've got 2 articles which touch on the future of themes a little bit later on. But Paul, anything on this one?
I assume the block templates for themes means that you can put some kind of code in your child theme. Is that right? That they ship and then it will put the right blocks in the right place on a homepage, like an old school Genesis widget layout or something. Is that the idea?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know. I read this about 6 days ago, 5 days ago, something like that, and I've forgotten the nuances of it. The bits that I mentioned were the bits that kind of I took away as being of most interest. So I don't know. That would need a further inspection. It's on WP Tavern. As always, if you sort of like click on the show notes, then you can get to these pages, and this is the first one. But yeah, I'm not sure. Can't remember how that worked, to be honest, Paul.
I think when you see the screenshots with the animated GIF screenshots of Gutenberg and the block editor, it really is. It's super helpful when you see those animations and you can see exactly what it is they're talking about, what they've done, and because sometimes in these Gutenberg updates, it's difficult unless you're really keeping on the ball with everything. What exactly that means?
Yeah. It's when you get point release of WordPress and suddenly you get this massive, they list all the updates since 5.2 to 5.3. There is so much work going into Gutenberg at the minute. It feels like this is where all the efforts are. But I just thought that was a nice one, particularly that one. And apparently the gradient presets, which I haven't used them at all, not once. Apparently the gradient presets were pretty horrible. They weren't very nice on the eye. So I think that's the point here is they've made slightly nice ones. Oh, look at that. Look at that. The WP Agency Summit. That's interesting. We have Jan on next week talking about that. Okay, in which case, if that's all we got to talk about on that one, let's move on to the next one. I do want to mention this one, if it's all right with you. This is a WP and Up thing. It's a different summit altogether. WP and Up, who I am helping out a little bit with their podcast, they've got a summit coming up. Oh, a great big cookie notice. Let's try and get rid of that. And it's called the Do Good Summit. It's happening in 7 days' time. And it's not like the other summits that you've kind of been to before. It's not trying to sort of necessarily sell you anything or make your business more streamlined or, make you able to generate more revenue, which is often the case. This is simply a bunch of people who are in the sort of like do-good space, if you like. They're called For Good Entities. And they're just going to come and tell you about what they're doing. So, for example, off the top of my head, I've forgotten, but it's quite a long list. Corey Miller's going to be doing one. Marika van der Acht from Yoast is going to be doing one. And there's a whole laundry list. And if you click on register now, you can be taken to the sort of, the landing page, and you can get yourself signed up. I know that they do have limited spaces. It's not like fake scarcity. I think it's a limit on the plan that they've got with their webinar platform or whatever. So if you want to be involved, go check it out. It's starting on 3rd of December. So that's quite nice. I like to mention WP and up as often as possible.
Some good speakers there. Like Corey Miller's the first speaker. So he's actually isn't he one of the kind of governors or something of?
He's a trustee. Yeah, charities work on the basis of trustees. Yeah, and he is one of the trustees. And yeah, so he's got some interest in this as well, shall we say? And if you've ever listened to Corey Miller talk about mental health, I think he was one of the first people who kind of switched everybody on to the fact that it was all right to talk about this stuff. But there's some big names, Corey Miller, Marika van der Acht, who's the CEO of Yoast, Topher from Hero Press, got WP Engine. I don't know who's going to be representing them. Matt Cromwell down here, Jill Binder, who's serious player as well. So it's a good little roster. Very, very pleased about this.
If no one's ever seen it, I'd really recommend looking out on wherever you can find videos for Corey Miller's talk at WordCamp Denver, I think it was. Yeah. The famous one that he did. I remember watching that, and at that time I was, there was all these famous names in WordPress and everything, and they just seemed like a bunch of superheroes that were just untouchable in like some kind of elite group of people. I remember watching his talk and just realizing it's not really like that. It can look like that from the outside, but
I think it's called something like the iceberg, isn't it? That talk where he talks about this iceberg and about how the little bit sticking up at the top is what the public see, and then the real you is kind of buried underneath, and it's 90% of everything, and it's not what the public get to see. Anyway, nice little roster. Please come along, sign up if you're interested, because spaces are limited. I don't know what the situation is, but I guess if you're really going to come along, please sign up. But if you're not, then maybe just leave it to somebody else. And I'm not sure what the replay options are, but anyway, WP and up, loving it. So Vito Peleg is not on the call, but I can see that he's in the call. But somehow he manages to get in it each week, because he's in it this week. Contacted me last week about this and kind of explained it to me over instant messaging, and I think this is really quite intriguing. It's WP Feedback's design community. Now, apologies if I get this wrong, because I haven't actually logged in and looked at it, from the personal side of things. But essentially, you're going to be able to, inside your WP Feedback installation, if you like, you're going to be able to communicate with your peers. So let's say, for example, that you are designing a website. I should put this up. I've got Paul Lacey large on the screen, and there we go. Let's go for that instead. And let's say, for example, that you've just built a website and you're having a moment of crisis. You're having a crisis of confidence, and you can't quite for the life of you decide if something's right or something should be adjusted. Well, the idea is that you would go to this WP Feedback design community, post your site, and get feedback from other web professionals. So I just thought that was a really interesting take. I just think that's fascinating. What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I guess it requires people to be involved in the community, right? So it's nice to get feedback, but I think in order to get feedback, you're gonna have to kind of be willing to give feedback as well, which I think is great. I think it's cool if people really get involved.
There is two sides to it, and I did watch I watched something. Maybe it was a video or it was just Vito explaining it to me. But there's kind of like two sides to it. So it says, we're excited to invite you to a closed community of WordPress professional designers where each will review each other's designs and help you get inspired, grow as a designer. So yeah, it's a two-way street. The principle is that you put your stuff up and people comment on it. And also you look at other people's stuff that they've put up and comment on it. And I presume that the idea is that, you get yourself it feels like a Facebook group, only completely away from Facebook. And maybe Vito will take care of like a decent way of curating search as opposed to the mess that Facebook groups are. And, you'll be able to go in and have chats and break out and, exchange email addresses without it being publicly identifiable and things like that. What he said in the comments, Vito said, imagine Slack or Facebook group plus InVision specifically for WP pros. My understanding is that it's free. He says free on the webpage, but I think the whole premise is that it's free. But I don't know if there's a sort of payment gateway within it where, certain features are going to be hidden. I don't know, but Vito, no doubt, will be there here. In fact, look, there he is lurking in the bottom right-hand corner of the page. Ping him if you're interested. It's sort of the kind of thing that, if it gets a certain amount of traction, it'll become really, really, really useful. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go check it
It's
out.
nice that it's not on Facebook as well.
Yeah,
that there's a community that there's got kind of rules, because the rules of it are kind of that you can't do all this, thread different elements of conversation. It's just visual feedback, and generally, because although this part's free, it'll be interesting to see if like the free things sometimes go up in flames. So it might end up being that the pro users who are the ones who are paying for the plugin, it might perhaps in the future, if the free one kind of gets a bit out of control, then people who are paid users of the plugin get access to a kind of other members who are paying for the plugin as well. So there's a bit more skin in the game to keep it as a worthwhile community. But it's an amazing idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, because I mean, it's just, he's already got the sort of presumably the back end built for interacting and exchanging data backwards and forwards between somebody and somebody else. All that's built. This just seems like a really nice idea, especially if you are putting something to a client and they come back with something and you're like, I don't even know what to do with that. Let's get some help from somebody else. Just a nice little twist. Nice little twist. He didn't need to do it, but he's done it. So yeah, there you go. Very cool. Thanks Vito for sticking that up there. Let's have a look, see if there's anything else in this section that I think is worthy of mention. I don't think I'll talk about this particularly, but if you're into learning about JavaScript, React, and what have you, Zach Gordon, who is just a brilliant public speaker, he's kind of decided to reduce the period of time it takes to go through his training courses. I think it started at 6 months, which he felt was just too long. Then he reduced it a bit more to 3 months, I think, and now he's decided he's going to squash it all into 6 weeks. So that's the change here. Everything's being done much more quickly. I don't know if the content has changed, but 3 boot camps. You've got JavaScript in 6 weeks, React in 6 weeks, and JavaScript and WordPress within 6 weeks. And unless anybody else has got anything extraordinary to say about that, we'll move on.
Looks like they're about $600 or something. I was trying to check the pricing for that.
Okay. So they're not cheap, but he is brilliant. Did you watch him?
If you wanted to learn this stuff, then this isn't how do you press this button in a page builder type tutorials. This is giving you skills that can make you good money, I guess. So.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Did you watch him in London when he did that talk in London?
Didn't see it.
It was really amazing in that he can talk meaningfully and write code at the same time. So he was talking to the audience, and then he suddenly realized that actually what he was going to say, he suddenly figured out, actually, I could do this better. And then he was typing and changing his code in real time. You see it all happening on the screen. And then he would go and check, no, that didn't work. Hang on a minute. And he would quickly go, it's just a guy that knows it inside out, to have the confidence to do that live in front of probably about 200 of your peers. he was talking about creating Gutenberg blocks at the time, if I recall correctly. But it was very impressive, because I would have had that whole thing. Not that I like public speaking or anything, but my approach there probably would have been to memorize it and not deviate even a tiny bit off the script. But he, on the fly. Yeah, he's great. In other words, he's really, really good. Very lively, enthusiastic guy. Don't want to talk about that one particularly. Let's go for this one, if that's all right with you. Don't know if you guys had a chance to look at this one. This is the Publish Press guys talking about this Newspack thing. So if you're like a small-ish newspaper and you've got £1,000 a month to burn through, you can pay Automatic this subsidiary version of WordPress called Newspack. And essentially you get an installation of WordPress. I don't know if it's on like VIP maintenance or whatever it might be, but you get a solution tailored for monetizing, publishing content, all of the stuff that a newspaper need. And these guys whose job it is to make publishing easier within WordPress, got a variety of plugins to make the publishing experience better. They seem to quite like it. I keep scratching my head at the idea of paying $1,000 a month for a version of WordPress, which, if you paid a developer several months worth, they could probably build you something equivalent, in a matter of hours. So that bit puzzles me, but I suppose you're paying for the hosting and the support.
I don't get it. And I'm scratching my head as well.
Yeah.
I did understand it until I read this one. And then I saw that you have to install a bunch of third-party plugins as well.
Yeah, that was the other thing. There's a whole list of dependencies, if you like, here.
Which is normal, but these aren't. It feels like you're buying a closed environment. That's what I thought you were buying. And then it's an interesting idea, and to me, it's almost like someone who invests in this at the moment. It's a good opportunity to get some PR and for actually doing it. But I'm just struggling to understand the concept, and then when I see finally Newspack in action, and you get this kind of basic blog looking website.
Well, I think this is the GitHub repo version, isn't it? So they're giving you the free version, but I'm presuming the one that you pay $1,000 a month for, you just get rid of these headaches, don't you? And I see our age-old discussion of people like us who live inside WordPress. No, don't do it. That's crazy. Why are you spending money on that thing? Because you can do it yourself, just blah, blah, blah. But I suppose a news organization, the last thing they want to do is worry about this stuff. So if they can pay Automatic to do it, but it just seemed like quite a bit of money. And I think that was the base price. Don't know if it goes up from
it's not even the money from my perspective that seems confusing about the offer. It's that I think if you did have the money and you paid for this, you would probably expect it was a done for you solution. And then, does the money include that they will design it really nicely and make it look like your brand and make all the? I don't think it does it? So
don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. It strikes me they've just found a niche.
As far as I can see.
Yeah, it feels like they found a niche which is ripe for an experiment. In this case, newspapers.
Yeah,
and they're going to experiment, see what price point they can work with, and then maybe in the future they'll go after, I don't know, off the top of my head, automobile retailers, or I don't know, mom and pop small business owners or something who've got a few products to sell or so. I don't know is the answer, but it certainly seems like a lot of money for but then again, newspapers presumably do make enough to pay for this. Right, let's not dwell on that anymore because we're obviously all totally confused. Now then, here we go. I'm going to miss out the one about web trends for 2020, although that was a nice article by WPMU Dev. Now this is controversial. This chap, did any of you get a chance to read this bloke's take?
I'd look through,
yeah. So it's a rebuttal of no, it's not a rebuttal. It's an ongoing debate. So Justin Tadlock on the WP Tavern a few weeks ago. Wow, that's a lot of chess pieces. Look how much screen he takes up with the chess pieces. The jigsaw pieces. He's basically saying that can we in WordPress 6.0 just get rid of themes, totally, completely get rid of them. he's sort of saying that, look, it's pretty obvious where it's going with Gutenberg. We want to be able to create a header in a block, so a header block, create a footer as a block, and then basically purchase little block packages. So instead of buying a theme, which he says 85% of the time doesn't do what you want it to do entirely. Actually, that's not what he says. He says that you buy a theme and at most it'll do 85% of what you need it to do. So you end up spending hours stripping things out and trying to work your way around the problem. And we seem to have this emergence of themes which are very, very lightweight, page builder framework and generate press and all that. And that seems to be where everybody wants to go. So his argument is, okay, theme developers, turn your attention to developing blocks, sell them individually or in little packages, and you might make more money in the future. So that's quite controversial, because ever since WordPress came around, certainly since I've been using it, your theme was an absolute requirement. What do you think of this, fellas?
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess he has a point in some way. Like, that's the way that Gutenberg is aiming to go, as far as I understand. But coming from the point of view of having used WordPress for the last 12 or 13 years, the thought of not having a theme just seems super weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
all the CSS and all of the visual stuff, in my experience, is handled in the theme, even when using page builders like Beaver Builder or Elementor or whichever. So, like, I don't know, for me, it's a bit mind-bending to think about not having a theme at all and then just doing blocks. Although I suppose you see a lot of these, like CoBlocks and all of these block guys that are releasing loads of these block plugins for Gutenberg. So, yeah.
Yeah. Paul, any thoughts on this? Is this too early still?
Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts, but they're all kind of muddled in a way. But like Shane said, it feels like the concept of the theme and the child theme is something at the beginning of time of WordPress that was there, and almost everything has evolved around. So plugins add functionality to themes, etc. And then a plugin might have a page builder thing in it, and then in a way the block editor, it feels so far up the stack to look at that 33 or 85% of people who might use WordPress in the future. It feels to me like the concept of removing the theme that does get 85% of it done for you, which is quite good, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the best he was.
Yeah.
Would be confusing for new people on trying to onboard themselves to WordPress. And then when I look at almost any other content management system in the world, whatever it is, there is usually a theme aspect to it. The main thing I can think of that you sort of skip this concept is with Oxygen, the product.
Yeah, I was
Oxygen.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So it almost feels like if this happened, I wouldn't trust in the community version to be organized enough for me to work with it so that I could just hand code things whenever I wanted to, even though there's some of the comments Otto's talking about, you can just use a block to put code in and all this sort of stuff. I would probably prefer to jump over to something like Webflow or Oxygen if there wasn't such thing as a theme, and have a more of a kind of IDE development environment that was more from a developer's point of view rather than like rather from this, everything is now Visual Builder first. So if you want to put code in, you have to put the visual thing in first, then you put the code in. So as you can probably hear, I'm slightly confused about it. I can't see how the community at large that powers the forward momentum of WordPress, the products, the theme owners, the plugin creators would respond to something like this. I think they just imagine that it wouldn't happen. But it's an interesting blog post because it just puts the idea forward of how far we could push things.
I think that's kind of why I included it, to be honest, because it just sort of feels like it's the beginning of this argument. And as the next iteration of Gutenberg comes around and we do get site-wide editing capabilities. And we got a comment in saying Elementor can already do this. Yeah, I mean, Beaver Builder's been able to do exactly this for like a multiple 2-3 years, something like that, and Elementor also. Yeah, it just, but you still need a theme. If you take the theme away, nothing works. So, well, unless you use Oxygen, in which case you don't need a theme, which is an entirely different process. But just feels like the beginning. And maybe, I think what he's trying to do, though, is present the economic argument. In other words, if you're a theme developer and you are starting to think, man, if this all becomes blocks, I'm out of work. And I think really the article kind of feels like a spin on that. Well, maybe not. Maybe if you can create a suite of blocks, a bit like, Co-blocks, Cadence blocks, Queebly or whatever, there's a living in there. And if you can create a header footer combo or just a nice header or this, whatever, the point is you might be able to charge $40, $50 for a header and $60 for the entire theme. So, I don't know. It's just an interesting
there's a lot of
pitch,
blocks, though, isn't there? So it feels like for every theme you might have 30 or 40 different block sets that kind of then. So in terms of how does a new person to WordPress figure out what is the good blocks, what's the bad blocks?
Yeah.
What's so.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I presume it will be ratings and what have you. In the same way that you'll be able to install plugins and see the ratings, you'll be able to install blocks within the the actual, the block editor, not the block, the plus where you click. I've forgotten what it's called. Anyway, just a interesting.
Oxygen
thing.
already does this, though. So Oxygen already has a way of just completely ignoring the fact that there is a theme and using its own thing. So it feels like this could be the same. That if they wanted to do this, you could put this in block dev mode or something, and then it didn't matter what theme you're using. The blocks were the API rather than the theme API. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, certainly very interesting. A lot of stuff is in flux, and we seem to be entering an interesting phase. Let's put the screen. Oh, how do I do that? What do I do? Is it that one? No, not that one. Not that one. How do I do it? That one. Let's go for that one. Great. Right, this one I want to briefly mention. I had a very quick text message with Ben Pines the other day, and he said, have you seen our latest contest? And I said, no, I haven't. What's it all about? I'm not going to play the video because, it's about, 2 minutes long. Just a really interesting take. I mean, I think these guys are like marketing on steroids. Their marketing is the best in WordPress. Is that safe to say? I think they're either the best or certainly equal top. They put out amazing videos that obviously they spend a good deal of time and money thinking about. So that marketing machine is extending itself into Black Friday. Great idea, this. So they're giving away a ton of real world stuff like iPads and I can't remember what the other things are, but physical stuff that you can get your hands on. But also they're giving away time with their guys. So you can win time with Ben. You can, I don't know if it's like an hour or an hour and a half or whatever it may be. But so they're one of their guys into coding, one of their marketing guys and what have you. And I just thought, okay, if you needed a way to push yourself front and center on Black Friday, you've got to think something different. And so they did. And dead cool. Well done.
It's very cool.
Yeah, just a bit different. I just watched the video. I mean, I could scrape through it, but there's Ben. So you get time with this guy and this guy, and I don't know, those guys. You get time with those guys. It looks really nice. Just a nice competition, whereas the rest of us are just sort of showing, 40% off or what have you, which is great, but they've got the chops to do something different. So I just thought that was brilliant. Speaking of different, don't know if you've had a chance to play with this yet. We're onto our plugins and themes section. We've got ones from Microthemer, Project Huddle, Breezy. I think I'm going to concentrate on more than the other ones. And the first one is this. Have you seen this yet? Paul, I know Shane has. Paul, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's really cool.
So this is Seb. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I think that Seb does this, like, I think he still does it by himself. I think, like, I don't know if he has a team. The last time I spoke to him, it was just Seb. And so this is, so basically you click on the button in the show notes here and you get taken to this micro themer drag and drop CSS grid interactive demo. So we've got, so first thing to say is it's full of stuff that you can muck around with, right? Which is quite nice. But then if you're still struggling a little bit, you can click on the overview button here. And then these are actual videos which pop up on a different tab, which I suppose is quite good because you can then interact with this again. Gutenberg support, Elementor support, Beaver Builder support. Now, I am not going to try and play with this as we are doing this live, except maybe very quickly. The idea is that you hit the target button, kind of select something. I want probably something a little bit bigger than that. But the point is you can then, I'm never going to manage this, am I? Let me go for
if you select that gray rectangle lower down with all the colored rows inside.
This one, that's perfect. Yeah, that's a good one. And then what do I have to do? Create selector.
Yeah.
And then, so for example, you can then like draw, and I've forgotten how I do it. Do I have to click on the grid button?
Left little
box. Just that little square, yeah.
Move the little square. And then you can sort of take it and rearrange it. Did you see what just happened there? So you say, okay, I want it to be two columns. Boom, it's 2 columns. You say, okay, I want it to be 4. Now it's 4. And you could say, okay, see this 8th one? I want the 8th one to be 2nd. What?
Wow.
What voodoo is this?
You can make it 2 like columns wide if you want, or whatever, which is kind of amazing.
I'm saying I had to click on like one of the elements itself, like say number 1, the green one, and arrange the number 1 and the lorem ipsum to be maybe, in line with each other, center aligned, vertical center aligned or something.
Yep. Well, I was playing with like putting gaps in, things like this. You just want to, I don't know why you would want to do this, but I managed to get a configuration where, just like empty space that you put an image here.
Yeah, then make number 5 stretch across the 2 columns if you wanted.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you can do that as well, can you? How do you do that?
Yeah.
You sort of click and drag. Anyway,
maybe.
Yeah, there's no point in trying to explain this to me. So basically, click target, find something, click on it, click this icon here, and then play with this section here. I mean, this tool is sublimely powerful. Yeah. Really, really great. And he is such a humble guy. He's very reticent to sort of, profess from the rooftops how amazing his tool is. But I do want everybody to sort of like go and have a play because it's brilliant. And he's got a deal on at the moment on my Black Friday. Yeah, there you go. 50% off. So pretty darn good. You click on that and you can find out. So yeah, well done, Seb. Great tool.
Yeah, I use it a lot and I love it. It speeds up the CSS like editing process amazingly.
What I quite like about Seb's tool as well is, also you can detach. You can detach all the editing stuff into a separate window, so you can keep this part open in one window. So if you've got 2 monitors, this bit up here, you can detach and put over on that monitor, and this bit can still be on. So that's kind of cool. It feels like that's what I do with the inspector all the time. I just have it on a separate window. That felt like because this is a bit difficult to work with half and half. But anyway, go check it out. What have we got? Jean-Francois saying this could solve a bunch of responsive issues with Elementor columns, like what you do with the 3 columns layout solved. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer to those specific questions, but it's worth clicking the button and going and having a look. See if it can, try with Elementor. You'll notice that, that the edit with Beaver Builder suddenly appears, the edit with Elementor suddenly appears. So I presume this page was constructed entirely with Elementor, and presumably by clicking that. Also, I want to know what hardware he's using, because if you press that button there, where's it gone? You press that link, it takes all of 2 seconds to spin up your unique demo. So I don't know what voodoo he's using to actually create this each time. But
it's probably Run Cloud.
I like it. I like what you did there. I see what you did there. Very good. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hi, Alex, by the way. Hello. Anyway, go check it out. Really like it. Project Huddle. If it's all right, I'm going to press on. Project Huddle. Very quick, nice release this time around. They've decided that they want to granulate the emails that you get. If you use Project Huddle to communicate with your clients, a bit like WP Feedback, they feel that the emails were just coming out too thick and fast. If you had a project which was like tanking along and you're hitting all the things one after another, you can get like 20 emails in a day. So now you've got options to summarize emails, shall we say. So you can just get like this. There it is. You get like a little laundry list of 3 or 4 in one hit, which is quite nice. And there's options to switch that off for different user roles and so on and so forth. So I thought that was quite nice. Anything to add to that, or shall I just kick on?
I think it's great. We use Project Huddle a lot, and those emails, there were a lot of them at one stage. Yeah. We're getting like loads every day. So I think that's a great feature.
Yeah. The granularity, I don't know if there's more options than this, whether you can specify every 2 hours or 8 hours or 12, whatever. Don't know. But anyway, nice feature. Breezy, I don't even know if this is new, but I did want to draw attention to it. Breezy's got a pop-up builder, and it can't be new because it's 2.0, but I did want to draw attention to it. I caught sight of the fact that it had been updated. Man, this looks good. If you're using Breezy, this looks really nice. I mean, the stack of different options that they've got out the box. So sales and promo, newsletter, features, cookies, GDPR, videos, gallery, sign-ups, and they all just look really nice. And you edit them as you'd expect, I suppose, within the Breezy interface. So you don't need to go away from the page. In other words, if you're on a page and you think, I need a pop-up on this page, you do it right where that page is, and that UI just takes over. You build the pop-up, tell it how to work, tell it what to react to, like exit intent or whatever, and it just works. So very cool, very cool. That's all I've got. Don't really want to do anyway. The only thing I would say is, security-wise, if you've got a plugin called WP Maintenance, maybe go and read this article. There's a job at InkSub if you like writing for blogs.
Did you say that WPMU, the same people as it?
Yeah, WPMU dev guys, they've got a job for blog article writing. This last one I do want to mention very quickly before we get on to our final Black Friday chat. Who knew this could even happen? I didn't. The .org domain, all of them. If you've got a .org domain, you're going to pay somebody to renew it this time, and it's been sold to a private equity firm. And on Gizmodo, they've used the slightly inflammatory language, private equity ghouls. I think if because to me, I don't know what you think, but if I hear that a domain is a .org, I'm immediately thinking like philanthropic, for good, charitable, non-profit. Of course, it's not. Anybody can register, but that's kind of where my head is. And then so the idea that all of these great entities, great charities, are suddenly going to be in the back pocket of private equity firm Ethos Capital. What do you reckon?
I didn't know that could be done as well, but
yeah, it's crazy.
Got them all.
What about .org.uk and .org.other?
Don't know. That's a good question. Maybe different, but I don't know. But the idea that the whole entire space could be acquired by one company. Do you know what? I mean, it probably wouldn't bother me so much if it was like something quirky like .fish, or which is a thing, by the way. You can get the .fish domain, but yeah, .org, that just seems like weird. Give it to some entity that's not going to be making money out. Now, maybe they'll be good. Maybe they'll be good custodians and they'll charge $10 a year for renewal, but maybe not. Maybe quickly go out and get all of the .coms and .nets that match your domain, just in case this turns out to be a profiteering drive. They are separate, says Ronald. In answer to your question,
where, oh, thanks, Ronald. It's one of those questions that you ask your daughter's, new partner from university or something the first time you meet them. What are your intentions?
Yeah.
That and what are their intentions? What's the point? Why are they doing this?
Chris Hughes makes the point that lots of other entities own, these TDLs, TLDs and what have you. Like, for example, .app is owned by Google and various others. But I think it's just, as I said at the beginning, it's the charitable nature of all of these domains. Like I'm going to put my finger in the air and say that if a charity, if you picked a charity, I bet you the first domain they tried to get was theirname.org every time, because it just feels like that. So Matt Davis says that .org.uk is still managed by Nominet, so it would appear that it's only the .org space. But it's worrying. I don't want that to be for sale. I wanted that to be like something pure. I wanted the internet to be pure, guys. Somebody's bought it. Anyway,
just like our daughters. That's what we're talking about.
Anyway, we're not going into that. Right. The tentacles of unfettered turbo capitalism know no bounds, says Liam Toolan. Yes, I think you might be right. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, only time will tell. Leo Mindel makes a comment about his daughter's boyfriend. Again, I'm going to remove that quickly in case that becomes inflammatory. Right. So, let's move on to what we're really here to talk about today, which is Friday. This Friday, Black Friday. Put your comments in, gentlemen, ladies who are watching this. What's on your list? Should we go one at a time and say what it is that we've been beguiled by? Firstly, should we go, Shane? What's going on with you?
Yeah.
Got your eyes on any prizes?
Well, I have to pay for all the Black Friday deal renewals that I bought last year.
Yeah.
So that's my first major expense on Black Friday. But no, I've actually been trying really hard not to buy any deals, and so I don't have any plans to buy anything at the moment. I already have the 3 that have sponsored today's thing, and so that's good for me.
Good on you.
Yeah.
That's great. So Project Huddle, WP Ultimo, and Micro Theme. Yeah, they should be on the top of everybody's list. Can we just make that point clear?
Those are great.
Yeah. Sure. But okay, well, that's good. I think, do you know what? I think it's kind of come from nowhere. It feels like 5 years, maybe it's more. Maybe it's more like 10. 10 years ago, Black Friday didn't really exist. Now it does. Everybody goes mental for it. Really, there's a lot of copy and time and sweat put on the whole Black Friday period, and it's good that you've got the tenacity to try and avoid it. Clearly,
we'll see how it goes.
From an accident last year. Yeah. What about you, Paul?
Well, I did buy a lot last year as well. So I've got WP Ultimo, which is great. Still not really using it. So, but I think I bought that on a lifetime. So the other one from the top 3 that are in there, I think it's also Project Huddle. Is that right?
Project Huddle. Yeah.
That's one of the top 3 in the list. So
yeah,
the Project Huddle. I actually used to use Project Huddle, and then I switched to WP Feedback. But as I see it, the two products now are just I've got really healthy competition.
Yeah.
So I think that most people who do what I do and what Shane does probably uses one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that they've both got a 40% discount. So it's a good time to get in on any of those and check out what, the roadmap appears to be for either of them. There are some nuanced differences in the direction they're going to a certain extent, but they're both putting pressure on each other to cover the absolute basics, like the email one that you were talking about earlier that sends a summary email every day or every week instead of every other task. So those ones are definitely good. What else have we got in the top 3?
The top 3 one. Let me put the screen on 1 second. Hold on. Not that one. That one. There we go. Let's put that one on. So we've got Project Hodl, WP Ultimo, Microthemer.
So Microthemer is probably the one that I'm going to buy, because I haven't bought it before because they don't normally work in that way. We use Beaver Builder, and then we just hand code any of the tweaks that we need using one of the Cobalt themes.
Yep.
Cobalt apps tools called Instant IDE and Thema Pro. But this new addition for the CSS Grid is really interesting, and I can see so many uses within the page builder to save lots of time of just stacking things in a row or something like that.
Yeah.
That would make me really interested to add Microthemer to the stack of things that I use to create websites as quickly as possible and as cleanly as possible. I was checking which browsers you can use for CSS Grid, and it's pretty much all the modern ones now.
Yeah. I think to the point where you don't need to worry too much.
So definitely Microthemer, I think, is one that I'm going to get. With it'll be the $199 one for the lifetime unlimited domains.
To see what the deals are. Hold on. This is themeover.com, which is the site that you get taken to. So that's the thing that we've just been playing with. Pricing, there is a button at the top. Here it is. Takes you down to the bottom of the page. There you go. There's your options. $199 for the lifetime.
That's the one.
That's $399. That's pretty good. 50% off.
Really worth it. Yeah. Then you've got a couple of caching plugins on there, the two that I use. Everything else that I wanted to comment on are tools that I've generally already got and think are really good. So there's WP Rocket and Swift Performance.
Yeah, so WP Rocket's 35% off. And Swift, I think Swift is like crazy amounts off, isn't it?
You've got to get in quick on Swift because the 70% has gone.
Okay.
So now we're on the 60% one.
Okay.
They're both really good plugins. Both seem to work in a different way. Having used both of them extensively, I find WP Rocket to be extremely stable in terms of the output of the sites. There's never any problems.
Yeah.
It doesn't create the best scores, I've found, without turning all the features on that then creates problems generally for me visually.
Okay.
But overall, it produces very quick loading times on top of a good server stack. Swift seems to produce unbelievable Google page speed scores, unbelievable GT metric scores. But from time to time, if you've got a lot going on in your site, you might find it a little bit unstable with all the stuff turned on. But if you've got a fairly simple site and you want a really good score and a really good speed, I think Swift is really, really good.
Yeah.
So both really good tools. You've got on that list as well pCloud. So a lot of us might use pCloud instead of Dropbox.
What's that like? Because I saw they've got a tempting deal where they've got this 2 terabyte offer.
It's really good.
Is it? Because I actually noticed, doesn't Dear Designer, don't they give you your resources back in pCloud?
Yeah.
So there you can.
You can make a download link, and then you can even brand that link. So you could have all your clients' folders in there with their like a header branded for them, and then the other thing I really like is that you can give upload links. So you can send an upload link to a client, and they can actually upload whatever size file they want. So instead of using something like WeTransfer or whatever, so I really like that feature, the upload.
That is interesting. So it's down from, well, I don't know that this pricing ever actually occurs, does it? But it always seems to be on some kind of an offer. But so anyway, that's the bold claim. 980 down to 245. Interesting. Yeah,
really good deal, that one.
Yeah, interesting. The obviously because I'm sort of sponsored, I'm not going to put my foot in the plugin debate because that's just the way sort of that goes. But I've got my eye on a few. But oddly, what's got me this time around is Google's stuff, Google's hardware, and I want to get. Where's it gone? Don't tell me they've pulled it. They've got this thing called a Google Home Max, which is like this whopper of a speaker. That one. I fancy buying one of these. It's down from $299 to $199, and it's basically a big, fat, portable speaker that, from every review that I've seen, they just sort of say it's really loud. and it's really, it's got really nice sound. So I think that is probably the one that's going to suck me in. Plus, outside of WordPress altogether, there's a deal on an app called Moosend, which is like a it's not trying to be Active Campaign because it doesn't do all the CRM stuff. Basically, it sends emails, and I send quite a lot of emails, so that seems to be like quite intriguing to me, that you could buy a SaaS platform on a lifetime deal. I know that you've got that one as well, Paul, haven't you? So
yeah,
tell me whether you think it's worth it or not.
Yeah, I bought it purely to use as sub accounts for clients, where I wanted to have a controlled done for you funnel solution. Having lost a couple of proposals on the basis that some of the people I was proposaling against marketed their service as a platform, I decided to try and productize some of my own stuff. And so with Moosend, you can have your allocation. Let's say you've got 15,000 up to 15,000 subscribers or something. When I say subscribers, you've got 15,000 seats available to subscribers with your deal, perhaps. You can decide that 1,000 of those are going to go off to this client, 1,000 are going to go to off this client, and then you can create a sub account and set up all the funnels and set up all the automation for them in that account. But it's you that's giving them that provider. So you're becoming like your own MailChimp and giving it to somebody. But the automation is very, very easy, very powerful. So I would say it's something similar to MailerLite, but more powerful in terms of use like MailerLite, as opposed to MailChimp, which I find very difficult to use.
I think
looking for a MailerLite upgrade, it's very good.
I'm trying to get the URL in, but I can't seem to find it. Hold on, I think that's it. Yeah, there you go. So it goes up to, this is the one I'm interested in. You can spend a lot. It goes right up to 50,000 seats, and the price obviously gets berserk at that point. But you can take any amount in between, and if you've got less than 2,000 subscribers, you get this lifetime deal at $49, which are quite beguiled by. Chris Hughes, how cheeky! Look at this. Chris says, make sure if you buy pCloud, you use a USA VPN.
Wow!
And you're going to get it for $245, and you probably won't have to pay VAT as well, Chris. But we never said that, did we? Nobody would condone that. That would be fraudulent and wicked. So take that comment away quickly. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think I'm going to be maybe buying a speaker. And obviously these fabulous three things, if I didn't already have them, which I do. But yeah, that's all I got. What about you guys? You got anything you want to share with us before we depart?
There's a few more plugins I'd shout out from your deal page.
Please.
Just briefly. These are things that I've used and been really impressed with. One of them's Cart Flows.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Cart Flows, yeah.
Dorothy Crafter's product.
Yep, there he is. Cart Flows,
I don't know
30%
how generous
off.
The deal is. I just know it's a really solid piece of WordPress plugin. The other couple you've got, WebArcs is on AppSumo.
Oh, it is, isn't it? That surprised me. That popped up
tomorrow,
today. Oh yeah, you're right. It is tomorrow. So I've actually got two deals. I got the normal Black Friday deal and the WebArcs lifetime deal on AppSumo, which pops up tomorrow.
That's coming tomorrow,
yeah. So anyway, a couple of choices there. All right,
$99 for 5 sites. $99 lifetime for 5 sites.
Yep.
Not as good as the original deal I had, which was $49 for 10 sites, which I stacked to get 60 sites at the time, and I was really glad that I did it.
Yep.
So I know there's some people who really like this product in the Dorothy Builds Facebook group. BlogVault, I've got a big discount on at the moment as well. So if you add the BlogVault with the security add-on, it's basically Malcare as well, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
I actually get confused between Malcare and BlogVault. I know they're the same company, but it seems that BlogVault seems to include security and Malcare doesn't include backups. I don't get it. I'm not too clear on it. So
I know that BlogVault is backups, isn't it? Isn't the whole point of that? Migration backups
you can add
and all
the
of that.
security scanner as well, which is basically what Malcare is. So I think Malcare is maybe just the security stuff on its own without all the backup stuff.
Right, interesting stuff. I mean,
another great product.
Go on.
Go on. Sorry.
For me, I've used the Page Builder Cloud. If you use Page Builders, it's really cool. you can save like saved sections and use them across different parts of across different websites if you have the plugin installed on multiple sites, which is saves a huge amount of time in a lot of cases. And then I know, Paul, you're a GeneratePress user, but Page Builder Framework is my theme of choice, and it's amazing. Super fast, really easy to use, and David, who makes the theme, is really cool guy as well. So
yeah,
if anyone's looking for a theme, I'd say that's the one to go for.
Nice. This page has just got ridiculous. I'm so stupid in the way that I set this up. This has been an entirely manual process putting this page together. Well, that's not entirely true. It's a custom post type and a bit of search and filter and what have you. But yeah, I think I've got like 100 odd deals on here, which I've had to manually do each time. So
wow.
Next, I'm going to have a better system next time. Oh, shout out! There's Matt's funnel packs. Very quickly.
That's another one that I was going to shout out. Something that I've really enjoyed spending money on in 2019. Amazing. You have to just, I think if you just go to the website and you can see what it is. But yeah, it's template funnels, email sequences. So let's say you want to sell a care plan for your agency. It gives you, the landing page and the opt-in to get a free download. Matt and Mel give you the download as a template in Google Documents, so you can tweak it and brand it. And then you get the email sequence and then tutorials on how to implement that in Cartflows and Thrivecart and other systems as well. Plus all the landing page templates for the major page builders, Beaver Builder, Elementor. It's probably, I would say, Funnel Packs, honestly, is my 2019 favorite product of the year. That I assume it came out in 2019.
Awesome.
I think it did. It's probably just the coolest thing that I've seen come out this year.
Nice. Check it out.
Really love it.
It's a glowing endorsement. 50% off. He's got this really, really cool. I'm not sure if my page actually links to it, but he's got this this full-on. Yeah, check it out. It's just great. Look at this page. It's like a whole raft of different deals happening at different times, and I'm loving it. I'm really liking it. He's put a lot of time into all this, so you can get different things at different times. Between this date, which obviously we've long passed, but 2nd of December over here. So yeah, it says thank you, Paul Lacey, and he says it was launched it was launched in April, so it's just sort of half a year old. Yeah, so really nice stuff. I'm just sort of scrolling down. Do you know what? I'm just quickly scroll to the top and I'll see if anything catches my attention.
Funnel Packs with Book Like a Boss, which is coming to AppSumo tomorrow for their Black Friday.
Book Like a Boss is my top recommendation.
Yeah, you use it for organizing the show, don't you? So.
If I can put it through Book Like a Boss, I'll do it. I think it's like it probably doesn't do everything Calendly does. Although I'm struggling to think what it doesn't do.
It does more than
great.
Calendly.
It's really great. Get the 2-stack deal though, because you get to white label it. You can take the Book Like a Boss stuff out of your emails and what have you for double the price. I like this admin page Spider Pro. I don't know if you ever use that. It means that you can kind of in your admin area get to the page you want really quick. I'm a big user of Convert Pro. I use that quite a lot. In fact, I use that on WP builds. Loads of stuff for Elementor this year. Lifter LMS is there. WP Ultima we've obviously mentioned. Project Huddle, Funnel Pack. The list just goes on. It's been a real Mint WP, Chris Hughes. Let's give Chris Hughes a bit of a shout out because he's like super contributor to the WP Builds Facebook group. Here it is, Black Friday Cyber Deal starting today. Check it out. If you want to do care plans but you don't want to do them, Chris will do them, which is a wonderful service. So go and check that out. I really like his stuff.
You could easily mark that up.
Yep. Split Hero, WebArcs. It just keeps going. This page just keeps up. WP feedback. There they are. This one, you kind of look at the clicks and what have you. This one's been clicked on loads. I've never heard of it. Starfish Reviews. But I think people are just beguiled by 78% off. Just let's get it. 78% off. I'm only paying 22% of what it's worth. And there you go. So
it's a good plugin. I've used it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. No, I've got nothing bad to say about it.
Bringing together your Google reviews and stuff like that, as far as I remember.
Bit of hosting at Cloudways, 40% off. Yith, Ronald.
40% off the first 3 months on Cloudways.
Yeah, it's not the full deal. I can't remember what I wrote for that. Yeah, first 3 months. Yeah. Yith, our friend Ronald is a brand ambassador for Yith, 30% off their stuff. And it just keeps going. It just keeps going. I've got one of these things, by the way. I like these if you're doing video stuff. In fact, if you want to do anything more quickly on your computer, that's cool. And I think it's like $89 at the moment, this Elgato Stream Deck. Oh, goodness me. You just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So go and check out my page.
Yeah, and you can use the search and filter bit in the top if you don't want to
do it. Click this thing and just start typing in here. I don't know, Elementor. Look, loads of Elementor type stuff.
So what are you using for that? Is that Facet WP or Search and Filter
Facet WP, yeah, Facet WP, which is great.
I wonder if they've got a Black Friday sale. That's an amazing.
Don't know, actually. Haven't really looked into that one. Certainly haven't been asked. And then you can filter by kind of what percentage off or what type of app, like a SaaS app or something. So anyway, there we go. That's all I got. That's all we've got. No more time.
Nathan, is that the new slide out functionality they just recently released?
No, that's Beaver Builder. It's UABB. What's it called? Off Canvas module or something.
Yeah.
So nice. This is just a saved row, one row, which was built real wide, and then I just dumped it in there.
Works great.
Works great. Yeah, yeah. No arguments. Anyway, there we go. Nathan has literally done nothing but getting deals for the last 2 weeks. That's exactly why my hair is now grey and slightly longer than it was before. You're absolutely right, Matt. But anyway, appreciate anybody who clicks on my links because it does help justify this podcast and whatnot. So there we go. That's all we've got, guys. Thank you so much. As always, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I've got to turn my light down. I'm sort of glowing like weirdly. There we go. That's slightly more normal. Thanks so much, Shane, and thank you, Paul. Normally we sort of sign off with a little pithy comment each, but I can't do that today because I've just got to run off and collect children from playgrounds. So thanks so much. Have a nice week, everybody.
Cheerio. Great. You too. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.